In this video, I'm going to show you how you can effectively repair all these broken bits on these plastic binnacles, both this bit and its corresponding mate. Now, spurred on by the repair I did on the Toto unit, the head unit to go into the Mud UK panel, which was made of ABS, I had a look at these here, because on my car these were all broken. On my 130 they were broken here, and the bits that go on to the binnacle housing, well, that was all busted up too. In fact, there was nothing holding it on apart from the wiring. Shameful, isn't it? Now, before we start, don't have a go at me, because I know you can buy these made in metal and the corresponding part of the back. I know that. But by the time they get to Canada land, or Australia land, New Zealand land, Africa land, they get expensive. For in Canada they work out at around about $350, including shipping. Expensive. But can we fix them really cheap? Yes, you can, because I've been playing around with this while I've had flu. I purchased 3 sheets this time of 3mm or 1/8 thick black ABS plastic with a finish on it. Nice. And the glue was $3. So you can say for about 20 bucks Canadian, you can do an awful lot of panel repairs with that. It's good stuff, because you can bond it together like this, so you can make a 6mm one. Now, I've been playing around with this while I was being laid up with the old grip, or whatever you call it, and came up with an idea how we could make some little parts to fix this. And I've had about 4 or 5 goes, I must admit, and I come up with a great idea, and all it is these bits. Now, this is 6mm, that's 3mm, because I did make a mistake on mine for here. I don't know if you can see that. There is a screw that goes through the side of here, and it can hit your panel that you're going to make. Now, this is the piece that you're going to make, and it goes in here like that. See? Now look, you see it is bigger, doesn't matter. In this case, bigger is better, because I did away with the self-tappers and I used some of these riv nuts in its place here. However, after a bit of experimenting, I found out you didn't really need riv nuts, because you can drill this out and put a self-tapper into it. Alright? So, what's the big deal, mate? Well, there isn't a big deal really, because I've worked out the shape. This is for the top and this is for the bottom. Now, with the help of James, and thank you very much, James, we came up with a design on paper that you can copy out. So this one's the bottom one, and you need 2 of those. Now, I'm going to do it again as a freebie. You can download it, copy this here, cut it out, stick it onto your bit of plastic or draw around it, whichever you want to do, and then cut it out so you get a shape like this. Now, on the bottom you only need 2, left and a right. Alright, so, and it's both the same, so you can just flip it over. Now, I did experiment doing it 3 thicknesses and it was just too thick. So 1 thickness of this here on the bottom of there, like that, will reinforce your existing unit. And if this bit is broken off, all you simply have to do is cut that flush, cut this bit off your pattern, make another one, but just use that bit, and laminate it together like this. Now, this looks a bit cockeyed, but it doesn't really matter, because once you've sanded it down or ground it with your Dremel, you'll get something like that. Now, that's really clever, isn't it? Now, what you're going to be saying next is, oh, there's no holes in it. That's right. You use the existing holes under here in your dash, and just drill through it, and then you can put self-tappers into it. I went a bit too far with the riv nuts, but I put riv nuts behind here, and I got all of these type of screws here. These are nice, 6mm with a, is that a pan head? I don't know. Phillips, who knows? But I bought a box full of them, and they're really nice. Through my experiments, I found out that you could actually use self-tapping screws with no detriment, providing you don't drill the hole too small, because it will get too tight. So with these type of things here, you're not going to tighten them up monster tight. All I want is a little bit of a nip, and they're good. Now, so that's why I didn't drill the holes in here, or make a point to say that's where the hole is, because you're going to use this as a template. You know, put that in, and even though those are broken off, and then you've got this piece underneath, you get your drill, go from underneath, drill a pilot hole suitable for a self-tapper, and if you've got two thicknesses here, brilliant. Now, why didn't I drill a hole in here, or mark out where the hole is that goes in here? Oh, this is going to be tricky to do because it's backwards for me. So here, like that. So we've got maximum surface area on here that glues inside your panel, but again, all you do, you put your panel on and you line it up, go through there, pilot hole through there. Brilliant. Really, really good. There are one or two little things to do. Now I'm going to edit this video here and put in how I put these pieces in, because you've got to cut the top of the other piece of binnacle that's inside the car, inside the dash. So now we're going to have a go at the other side. Now you'll probably notice here on mine, I don't have the heater speed control. I just put a knob down there, 2-speed heater knob, and it works far better than that useless piece of rubbish. Anyway, this is the piece that's broke off. You know, typical snapped off piece here. I'll get rid of that. Now I'm just going to do a bit thinner this time. I've got my piece here. I've just ground it down a bit. I made it out of 3 pieces, but it really needs to be out of 2. But if I look at this angle here, you can see we've got to grind this so it's flush, and a little cutout up here. You'll see in a minute what I'm trying to do. Right, so that's the piece cut out, and that sits in there. Now you've noticed I put a slot in here, and this comes up a little bit higher. It's hard to do with just one hand because the dash actually comes up to the top of here. So we're moving it up a little bit so we can get the maximum contact where my thumb is. So let's get that done and get glued on. Now, but I made it come up a little bit bigger because on Mark 1 the hole was preciously close to the side, so I brought this up a little bit. I'll tell you what, I'll put it on the outside, and then you'll sort of see what I'm rambling on about. So that's in effect how it's going to go. There's the hole. See? Brilliant, isn't it? I know, it really does work well. It is going to make your Land Rover better. So for about, a couple of quid, well, you can make loads of them. Now, am I going to make these parts and put them in the shop? No, not even going to bother. I'm going to tell you how to do it, show you how to do it, and you can do it yourself. You get the ABS sheet from Amazon, hardware shop, something like that. It's really, really cheap. But I was thinking about getting some of these here water cut, but it's going to cost me a lot of money to do, and I've found out through the past things when I've done plans like this and freebies and stuff like that, or made things, after about 2 or 3 weeks nobody wants them. So I'm not going to go down that road and invest a lot of money in that. I'll let you do it yourself. Now it is raining for a change, so I'm outside, so it's not much fun. But you can see here when I put the riv nut in, on this one I did it 3 thicknesses. You don't need it 3 thicknesses, 2's enough. But you can see here, by the shape of this, you just cut out the top of the dash, top here, and it goes to the top of the dash, and you'll probably see a rough one I did here. It doesn't really matter because you've got bags of room. Alright, you've got bags of room for all that to fit, and it goes in really nice. And you can see there the riv nuts in place in that, and I did 3 thicknesses here, but I just trimmed back that little chamfer so the bolts would, you know, the screws here wouldn't hit it, and it's really strong. I'll put this together and you'll be able to see. So you can see here, this is why you use this hole as a pilot hole to drill through the plastic and put your riv nut or your screw in. But you can see how nice it goes. I'm going to put the screws in and I'll show you. So there's the screws in, underneath there, on the side, down the bottom, and that is solid. Now remember, when you're doing this, when you're gluing, leave these together, or when you're gluing it onto here, leave it for 24 hours to really solidify the glue, you know, to make it nice and strong. But I'm pleased with that. At least I didn't have to lash out on a new binnacle. You can make that for pennies. And like I say, this piece here, because it goes up into there, doesn't matter how big it is. Now one thing I did think about was some thumb screws, but the thumb screw caught just on here. You're alright for the bottom, so you could take this off very quickly, but you can easily do that with a screwdriver. And of course, being riv nuts in there, you don't have to really tighten them up, you know, torque them down or anything like that. So that's really good. So that's worked out nice. Hope you like that. See ya.